This is a videography of Leonardo da Vinci by Jennifer White. Here we will look at his life, works, and the mystery that surrounds his legacy. Leonardo was born and raised in Anciano, or Vinci, Italy. This is a city in Italy that lies just outside of Tuscany. The landscape is that of vineyards and olive groves. It is surrounded by the Tuscan hills, very much the same as in Leonardo's time. Leonardo's birthplace and home still stands today. He was born out of wedlock to a peasant mother and a French notary father. He spent his younger years here with his mother before moving in with his father and joining his lavish lifestyle. Leonardo was born Leonardo di Piero da Vinci on April 15, 1452. His full name means Leonardo, son of Piero from Vinci. He grew to be a high Renaissance artist who exemplified the religious and natural aspects of the time. We all know his works, the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper being the most famous of the two. Oftentimes we do not give much thought to the artist behind the works. We may not have studied art, history, or given what seems a bit like pop culture any serious consideration, but the truth of the matter is, the artist, Leonardo da Vinci, lived over 500 years ago, and his works, while few and far between, have been some of the most influential and captivating pieces in history. This depicting of mine of the human body will be as clear to you as if you had the natural man before you, and the reason is that, if you wish thoroughly to know the parts of man anatomically, you or your eye require to see it from different aspects, considering it from below and from above, and from its sides, turning it about and seeking the origin of each member, and in this way the natural anatomy is sufficient for your comprehension. You can look at the anatomy that Leonardo studied. The organs inside this man are not exactly as we know them today, but you can see what he was trying to piece together, the mysteries of anatomy before science and medicine were in full effect. He studied balance or proportions in the body as we see in the Vitruvius man. As the man grows after birth, the limbs, face, and body parts grow in sync. You can see he did the same studies with the child in utero as he did with the grown man. He also focused on the form and movement of the hands, how delicate yet strong. Leonardo writes, "The principal movements of the hand are 10, that it is forwards, backwards, to the right, and to the left, and in a circular motion up or down, and close and open, and to spread the fingers or to press them together." Leonardo not only studied the human anatomy, but that of other animals, also looking at their movements, and perfecting the proportions of animal and man in motion together, as seen here. Here you can see his studies of light, the shadow, reflections, and glow he's able to produce on the subject. You will see the training of light here in his sketch of the lady with the disheveled hair. This combines his use of motion and wildness in the hair with the light subtly gracing the peaceful face of the woman. In these pictures, he continues to practice the light and shadow caused by the hair. The motion and life in the hair is being studied here, the light hitting the face with darker shadows running down the neck and darkening at the nape. The hair is hit by the same light with nice steps in the twists and coils of the hairstyle. Here we will look at some of Leonardo's greatest works. At the age of 15, an artist and inventor in practice, Leonardo was sent to study under another artist, Verrocchio, who often did not finish his own work, but rather allowed his pupils to complete them. You see this in the works such as this, The Baptism of Christ with Leonardo. All else aside, Verrocchio's works showed his incredible talents as he ranked second to Donatello among Italian sculptors of this time. This is one of Leonardo's first paintings. The Annunciation is generally accepted to be the earliest of his solo works, completed in 1475. It is oil on a poplar panel. It's a painting of the biblical Annunciation where the angel Gabriel is sent by God to announce to the Virgin Mary that she would give birth to the Son of God and he would be named Jesus. He was sought to paint portraits of the affluent as well. Here he paints a portrait of an aristocrat whose beauty made her the subject of several poems and sonnets written during this time. The Madonna of the Carnation and the Madonna with Flower are again pieces with Mary and baby Jesus depicted. Procrastination at its finest, Leonardo struggled to complete many pieces. Here we see the unfinished Adoration of the Magi. St. Jerome in the Wilderness was also left unfinished. The tempera and oil on walnut panel shows the saint during his retreat to the Syrian desert, where he lived life as a hermit. You can see the lion at his feet who became his loyal companion after the saint was said to have plucked a thorn from his paw. Madonna of the Rocks is over 6 feet tall, oil painted on a wooden panel, shows the scene of Mary and Jesus with baby John the Baptist and an angel in a rocky setting, which clearly gives the work its name. The portrait of a musician brings Leonardo back to his portrait skills. Another portrait done during that same time is this portrait of a woman. Lady with an ermine is the picture of a mistress to Leonardo's employer during this time, the Duke of Milan. She was a simple woman from a simple family, known for her beauty and poetry. Looking at her dress, you'll see how simple it is compared to the portrait of a woman we had just seen. Her dress reveals that she is not from nobility, and the Duke of Milan actually chose not to wed her because of that. This is the Madonna Lita, a very small painting. It's a mere 17 by 13 inches in size. The Virgin Mary is nursing the baby Jesus. Such detail in the fabric folds and the small golden finch in the left hand of Christ is so subtle you miss it if you do not study the work. One of the greatest works for Leonardo da Vinci is the Last Supper. The large wall mural is tempera on asphalt, not the usual fresca. Because of that, the painting began to deteriorate shortly after completion and has since been continually restored. This captures the Last Supper Jesus had with his disciples and captures the reaction given by each of the apostles when Jesus tells them that one of them will betray him. Each apostle has a different reaction to the announcement. So much controversy surrounds this painting that we will talk about it a little later. The mysterious Mona Lisa, complete in 1505, the panel is said to be the most well-known, most visited, most written about, most sung about, and most parodied work of art in the world. The Mona Lisa hangs in the Louvre in Paris and has no exact history as to who the subject was. There's a lot of speculation. However, the identity of the Mona Lisa is not truly known. This work is named the Battle of Onchiari. It was to capture a battle scene that celebrated a Florentine victory. Always experimenting, Leonardo decided to mix wax into his pigments. When the painting was slow to dry, he brought hot coals and placed them in front of the wall of this scene. The wax melted from the exposure of the heat, and Leonardo's work was a liquid mess on the floor. Here we see Leonardo go in a different direction, however still telling a great story. Leda is the wife of the king of Sparta, who is seduced by the Greek god Zeus, who has taken the form of a swan. Leda is impregnated and has 2 children with Zeus. She also has 2 children with her husband. You see the 4 children on the ground. It was said Zeus's children were born in eggs that you can see cracked open at her feet. Here you see another work with Leda, very similar to the last. The last known work of Leonardo before his death in 1519 is that of St. John the Baptist. Done as a portrait very similar to those he produced earlier, the light and shadows cast are done so well you can still see the saint's hair in detail. Leonardo tells us there are 3 classes of people: those who see what they are shown, and those who do not see. Through all of his incredible works, Leonardo was still studying. He seemed to have a sense of humor, and is said that you cannot study beauty alone, but to perfect your skills and imagination, you need to branch out and not be afraid to create from nothing. These are Leonardo's grotesque heads, his application of the imagination, an attempt to perfect the imperfect. Leonardo has continued to have an impact on society today. His art is said to contain images that have codes, and many people still think there are clues and maps hidden in his work. Conspiracy theories have led to many movies being made, such as the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Ever After. The Catholic Church also has publications such as The Secret Supper that explores the symbology of Leonardo's Last Supper painting. The Mona Lisa, the Vitruvian Man, and the Last Supper have also been widely used in pop culture during the millennium, with the Mona Lisa being depicted in just about every way possible. It is clear that the art by Leonardo da Vinci, while 500 years old, is still radiating within our culture. Vasari sums up Leonardo and says, occasionally, in a way that transcends nature, a single person is marvelously endowed by heaven with beauty, grace, and talent in such abundance that he leaves other men far behind, and indeed everything he does clearly comes from God rather than from human skill.